Et salut tout le monde, cette fois-ci on se retrouve sur Phoenix aux États-Unis dans cette ligue privée stock Carnaval du Brasil. Cinquième course de la saison, il en reste encore 3 pour que je puisse faire un podium. Je vise clairement la deuxième place du classement général. Là vous allez voir 2 hits, donc le premier hit qui dure 15 minutes, je démarre P3, je finirai P3 en passant directement par P5 dès le départ, je me fais piquer 2 places. La piste est super glissante, super chaude, c'est une vraie patinoire. Et dans le hit 2, où de 30 minutes avec arrêt au stand, je démarre P3 et je finirai P4 dans la douleur, mais je finirai P4. Et puis, bon, on se regarde ça.
All right, so we have on the pole position Facundo Rago. He did a 1:01 flat, very fast time. Joining him on the front row is going to be his teammate Sebastián Maceira, but also a 1:01 flat. It's just a difference of 3 tenths between those two. 300 actually. No. Yeah, 2 tenths.
Literally a blink of an eye.
Yeah, literally a blink of an eye. Then we have Olivier Vignone and Bruno Miranda in row 2, followed by JJ Wang and Matthew Short, row 3. James Watson and Alexander Pochit make up row 4. Then we have Rafael Oliveira and Glenn Luzon, row 5. David Maciel and Matt Johnston, row 6. And Dan Miglin in row 7. Although Matt Johnson is going to have to go through an EOL for the penalty for last week, that he wasn't around here, so yeah, he's going to go 1 spot back.
Yeah, he has a carryover penalty from actually 2 weeks ago. So he did not serve it last time because he wasn't here. He'll serve it this time, and he will get that end of the line start from the pits penalty. Other than that, that is your starting lineup. 12 cars, not too bad of a lineup. And we are getting ready to start our pace lap here, our formation lap. And man, you see the difference in speeds between first row and second row, 4 tenths. It was the difference. So expect those guys on the front row to disappear rather quickly.
Yeah, they could easily check out, but I mean, you still have that the course is treacherous. So if you take one of those apron transitions or whatever a little wrong, then you're probably gonna spin out. So I mean, although they were, like you say, 4 tenths faster, that doesn't mean that they're gonna run away with it easily.
Right? Yeah, you still got to hit your marks and do what race car drivers need to do in order to perform a clean lap. But yeah, you're absolutely right there. Shouldn't count all the chickens here before they hatch. But I want to thank everyone for watching tonight, and just let you know that according to YouTube analytics, only we've gone up now. 54.3% of you now are not subscribers, so that means we're getting a lot more viewers now that are not subscribers. Well, let's change that. Help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy Race First iRacing coverage and respect the stream, do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. We have just over 100 subscribers to go for the magical 1,000 mark. So help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts, which we have a lot of. So now let's get into it at Phoenix as we are getting ready to go through the second hairpin and back on to the IndyCar Oval.
Yeah, let's call it the IndyCar Oval instead. Yeah, and turn 11, that one, also transitioning back into the oval, that's also very treacherous. It doesn't have any grip, so you're going to see drivers struggle through there a lot. Or at least I was struggling when I was driving.
Well, we've seen practice, and a lot of people here haven't seen everything that we saw in practice. Practice looked like it was a struggle for a lot of people, especially turn 1. So we're going to watch a lot of these guys dive into turn 1. And, well, we'll see if they're going to have grip this time. Here we go. Pace car off. Field is under the control of the front row at the moment. And there we go. Green flag in the air. And we're going to watch these guys dive into 1. Who's going 3 wide there?
I think that was JJ Wang.
That was a very brave move. Everyone through the S's so far pretty good.
Yeah, great move there by JJ. It
a little
locks up a little
deep
bit.
in there. It's going to open the door for Bruno Miranda. They're going to drag down this straightaway right here into the second hairpin, and then it will bring us out. And he turns JJ, and that's a hard hit. That could be day. And he reels back out, and he collects. We got like 3 cars that get collected in that one with contact. Matt Johnston's involved, Poteet's involved, Masel's involved. So 4 cars involved one way or another on that. So for
Sun also got a part of that.
No cautions here for Gundurago as your leader with his teammate Sebastian Massero right with him. Oliver Vignone, the Frenchman, is in 4th. And right there is Bruno Miranda in 4th, Oliver Vignone in 3rd. Right there with Miranda is Matthew Short in P5. This far out cam gives everyone kind of a look of what it's like from the, if you were watch this race from the grandstands, that's what I'm trying to say. But we'll get you closer. Like this close right here. Yeah, back on track.
So I was looking at the replay between the incident between JJ Wang and Bruno Miranda. It didn't seem like anyone was really in the wrong there. It just both drivers going for the same piece of real estate, and if you don't check turn 11 a little wide, then you're never gonna make it. So yeah, I would chalk it up more of a racing incident, hard driving on the first lap, trying to make as many spots as possible. But the big winner there would be Olivier Vignone, who was passed by JJ Wang with that great move on turn 1. But now he's back to P3 where he started.
You see Bruno Miranda here, P4, chasing down Vignone, popping those curves. Here's the second hairpin coming back out onto the IndyCar Oval. And we know Bruno Miranda has spent many, many laps on the IndyCar Oval. He's going to take a look to the inside, coming into Oval turn 3. He clears him. We got a new P3.
Yeah, and you can do that turn a couple different ways, like the IndyCar Oval turn. You can even drag brake a little bit and try to go on the outside, but yeah, the one closer to the apron is typically the fastest lane. Good move there by Bruno.
So our heat race is projected that is, to be right at 15 laps at the current moment, at the current pace.
Matt Johnston just had an incident he was looking into the inside of Dan Miglin there, making a move on turn 2, but wasn't able to make it work. And he had to, he ended up spinning himself, but he's back underway. And now Miranda goes off-road a little bit, and that will open the door back to Vignone, Short, and Oliveira and Watson. So 4 cars went by him.
Let's go look at that real quick. Yeah, that's he kind of missed his braking. Actually, no, didn't miss his braking point. Got loose. Watch as he comes in here, turns the wheel, brakes. The back end carrying a little extra speed that time and brings it on around. And in the meantime, trying to keep it straight there. That is supposed to be asphalt, but it's treated. It looks like it's dirt. But
yeah, it reminds me of the rallycross circuit.
Yeah. And number of cars pass him for position, so he is back to 7th. But that is not too bad, really, because if this race were to end right now, he starts on the front row for the feature. But back up front, here are your 2 teammate leaders.
Oh, Bruno just did the same again. Had the same incident
the
in same
almost
corner.
Glenn Lizon, and he's done. He's like, I'm going to punch out here and collect himself. And yeah, he's done on that. We're going to cool off for a little bit. It's got another 10 laps before this race wraps up, before we get to the feature, and then he'll be back involved to that race. Take a look at the points real quick. We'll get these track map off. Take a look at the points. Here are the points after Laguna Seca. Facundo Rago is your points leader by a substantial margin. He has 186 to 124 over Montero. Oliveira, who is currently shown in P4 on the racetrack in the heat race at this time, is in the P3, tied for P3 in this contest, or in this series right now. And he's tied with Bruno Miranda. So this is going to be that incident with Miranda is going to impact the championship with only 3 weeks to go after this.
JJ, for sure.
Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, and we don't have Montero here. So Bruno and Rafael Oliveira, they were both slated to get by him. But yeah, now it looks like the big winner there is going to be Rafael Oliveira.
JJ Wang 5th, Christopher Hill not today with us again today, and Vignone tied for 6th. I think Christopher Hill gets actually a tiebreaker because he actually has a win this year with 111 points. Then you see Poteet, Short, Luzon, Macera, Miglin, Johnston, and Tucker rounding out the remainder of the top 14 there. 3 weeks to go. Let's cruise on to the next graphic here real quick. Here is the remainder of the schedule. Next week, Sandown. Then we're back to the United States for Watkins Glen. And then wrapping it up like a bookend to our start of the season at Interlagos in Brazil. We will wrap it up there and crown ourselves a Season 1 champion. We'll see how Facundo Rago does here in the next 2 weeks, but he might have the series wrapped up before then, but we will definitely 100% be crowning a champion here on the 1st of September when we go to Interlagos. So that is the remainder of the schedule. Let's get you back on the racetrack. Here is our leader, Facundo Rago. Macera actually is falling back to the grasp of Olivia Vignone. Let's get you some statistical information up on our screen here. See, Macera is Rago is actually off to about a 4.8 second, almost 5 second lead over Macera, his teammate, and Vignone is you see right there, 0.5 to Macera. Closer than that now is he's right on his bumper.
Yeah, I was looking at Sarah, and last time by, he entering turn 1, locked it up a little bit, went a little wide, ended up in the grass, and he lost like 4 or 5 seconds, and that would explain why he's all the way back there now fighting with Vignone.
Eight laps to go. Let's go back a little bit more to P5. There is Rafael Oliveira looking to move up into P2 in the championship with a good finish here in the heat race. Currently sitting, wherever if he stays here in the top 5, gets a nice top 5 finish, and he's guaranteed pretty much a top 5 start in the feature as well. He'll just kind of be sitting back there with the leaders right ahead of him. So he has an opportunity to capitalize a little bit today and get a little bit closer to Rago if he can. If not, definitely solidify his spot in P2 in this championship. But he is about 2 seconds just behind Matthew Short there for P4. He's trying to run him down.
Yeah, and like we said last week, maybe the fight now is for second. I'm also keeping my eye on Olivier Vignone, who's only 10 points back of Oliveira. So, and right now he's currently running P3, so he might be the one getting that P2 spot in the championship after these races said and done.
Frenchman has been very, very consistent since joining the series. Actually, just after the start of the first week, I don't think he was at the first Interlagos, but he joined us at Summit Point.
Yep.
Yeah, and he had a great race there, learned a few things, showed us a few things, and definitely showed us that he can adapt well to these cars.
He has been very, very fast every single week after he started joining us on Summit Point, and yeah, he's doing a great job so far, keeping up with Rago and Macera, the teammates that have been the class of the field for most of these races. Looks like Rago is also taking it taking it easy. Last time by he did a 102, although this time by also 102. So no need to push yourself, especially with that 4-second lead over your teammate in P2. Very smart driving from all of these guys up front.
Yeah, and once they get off the oval and then onto the apron there for turn 1, they lose every bit of banking, helping them kind of negotiate. These cars look great going through oval turns 3 and 4, but they look sketch on the infield where there's no banking.
There's no banking and there are no references. So and this car has kind of limited visibility. It's something that we haven't talked about. But once you're in the cockpit, there is a giant control board on the top of you, and the super large number that you can see off of the windshield. So you don't have the best visibility inside the cockpit. And again, this track is very flat, not a lot of markers, so it's very tough to navigate that infield center, that infield section.
Yeah, there is an inside shot from our leader right here with 5 to go as he brings it. See, that hits that bump coming off the banking. Even the straightaway has a little banking here at Phoenix Raceway, and see that little bump that does upset the car a little bit. And then of course the car wants to slide, and you are on nothing but flat and pretty dusty apron at that point. So he just got to keep it pointed straight, which he has so far. Leads down to 3.7 seconds as Macera is still fighting Vignone, but Facundo Arago is, looks like, yeah, you're right, very much taking it easy. And I think the battle between Macera and Vignone is kind of settled down too, as now Vignone has fallen behind Macera by about 2 seconds right now. So the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment looks like it's the battle between Luzon and Watson, and this is it right here. You're watching it.
Yeah, it looks like last time by, James Watson got a little loose, lost, braking marker, and was 4 seconds lower, did a 107 than he was typically doing, so that allowed Len to go by, but I think he's going to try and come back here. James Watson is on the push to pass button.
And the draft, I would imagine, does play a role here, especially for as long as they're on the oval. They're on the oval for pretty much 3/4 of a lap.
And he's sending it. James Watson to the inside in turn 1. Side by side entering the herb in turn 2.
Very clean.
He makes it work.
Very clean. Luzon way on the other side of those rumble strips at the exit of that corner. Wonder what out of bounds is here now.
Well, I think it's pretty strict. I think it's really good in turns. In the backstretch section and turns between turns 4 and I think it's 5 and 6. That one you can go a little wide, but all the other spots, if you go wide or if you go to the outside, it's going to mark you like a slow down penalty. However, since you're already pretty much slowed down, they're going to go away pretty much immediately.
And watching Dan Miglin here, this is the next closest battle on the racetrack. Believe it or not, he's about 3 seconds to Matthew Johnston, who is on push to pass on the front straightaway at the moment. Arago is halfway through this lap. He's out onto the oval at the moment, looking to take, I think, a white flag this time by. Final lap for our points leader.
And he's going to keep accruing those points.
He's got Sebastian Vettel's helmet in the car there.
And don't look now, but JJ Wang made his way all the way back to P8. He's going to be our pole sitter for the feature.
Looking out the tailpipe here of Arago, going into the second hairpin, back onto the oval for the last time now on his front bumper. Watching him make his way through ovals turns 3 and 4 down to the yellow line, drifting out high right up to the wall. And there's your winner of Heat Race 1, Facundo Rago. And we will have him join us just momentarily here in the interview booth as we prepare for the feature race here momentarily. We will get you the result.
So. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right. See, we were all excited to tell him congratulations. Well, we are, let's see, we got a little time here left before we grid. Not much time, actually, as we are gridding now. So let's go ahead and take a look here on the front straight as we start to grid again. We'll do a full pace lap before we take the green. We'll see the pole sitter should be JJ Wang. I'll wait for them to grid up. Interesting. JJ Wang is not gridding up in the pole position. He's gridding up an 8th, so I don't know if the session was not built correctly. But it looks like we have the finishing order is how they're going to grid up here for the heat race, or for the feature race, interesting enough.
Yeah, they were. I was trying to eavesdrop a little bit on the boys' chat there, and yeah, they were saying that something went wrong with the session, and that's why we're seeing basically finishing order is going to be the starting order for the feature race.
This makes Rago's job, I would say, easier. I mean, he and his teammate are by far and away in a class of their own. They were 4/10 quicker during their qualification lap than the next fastest guy. This is going to bode well for them as they don't have to go through all that traffic up ahead in order to break out in front. They're out in front. It's up to them not to make mistakes and bring it home at this point.
Exactly. I mean, we were just saying that was going to be the main challenge, but now there really is not going to be a challenge. The only challenge is going to be to keep the car under control at all times and be patient and hit your marks and just drive away, basically. Although Maceda has been really fast as well, so I wouldn't rule him out.
So again, the feature is 60 laps or 30 minutes, whatever comes first. We should be looking at, if the heat race was a 15-lap race, we should be looking at a roughly 30-lap race. And I would imagine these guys would be pitting for fuel because they're capped at 30% fuel on their in their fuel cells. I would imagine they'd be pitting for fuel with 10 to go, give or take.
I think that the pit road, the pit window is going to open around lap 8 or 9. You should be able to short pit, try to make a spot by doing an undercut. But it should last until around lap 20. So there is going to be a lot of time for these guys to go into the pits, but they definitely will need to go there as we're getting ready to go green.
And here we go. And those teammates drag racing down the front stretch to 1. Vignone did a very similar move into turn 1 that JJ Wang did on the lap 1, turn 1 of the last race. Oliveira moving his way up into 4, side by side with James Watson.
Yeah, they were 3 wide.
Wang running wide. I think it was bumped wide, forced wide there by Matthew Short. Matthew Johnston trying to take a evasive action over an issue in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that JJ is going to be happy being forced out of the track in both races in the first lap.
And JJ has at least he's survived a little bit farther. We're a little rubbing his racing coming out here onto the oval again between Short, Oliveira, and Wang. We'll watch this as a round ovals turns 3 and 4. I'm sure we're going to have the aid of the draft here helping Oliveira, as well as Arrow push, as he might have kissed the wall a little bit. Going to take a look to the inside going in the 1. Matthew Johnson trying to keep it down low. He set it a little bit too hot. JJ Wang thinking about taking it 3 wide. Sure, go ahead and use those curbs.
Yeah, you can definitely use those curves, but
wow,
at some point,
short popped it off the curb. Oh, and Oliveira, and everybody just kind of piles up behind.
Yeah, Johnston, Luzon also went wide,
and that's going to cost Oliveira a ton of positions. He's going to go back to 12th. That's going to be good. That might be good for Vignone then in the championship.
Yeah, I was just going to say championship implications. That definitely works in Vignone's favor. And the good thing is that these cars can take a beating. I'm looking at Matt Johnson. He doesn't have a trunk. The car seems pretty damaged. Oh, he's actually going into the pits. But we saw it with Chris Hill at Fuji. I mean, he was able to just keep driving, no problem at all, without taking loss of performance.
Johnson doesn't have much of a front end either, and I think that's he might be getting a meatball on having to get one end of his car fixed here. But yeah, he is pretty well dinged up from that incident. I forget what corner number that is. Yeah, that's why we put the track map out here. That would have been corner number 8, riding through there. So he is fixed and done and away. But he is still going to have to pit again. He's still early in order to make it on the one stopper.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to pit again. I'm looking at Oliveira. He also seems to have some damage. I mean, he's struggling a little bit right now on throttle application. Not sure. I mean, I'm looking at some damage in the car. Not sure if that's affecting anything. But he's really close to David Maciel there for P9.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that battle right here. If you're just joining us, this is the feature race for the Legacy Phoenix round of the Stock Carnaval de Brasil series on iRacing here, coming to you, as said, from the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. We've completed 4 of approximately what's going to be 30 laps for this feature race. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button below, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on the next race. And thanks again for joining us on this Thursday night here, watching Oliveira going sideways through turns 8 and 9. Yeah, he might have really hot tires at this point. Might just be good just to settle down and ride her out for a bit.
Yeah, because he had the preferred line. He had that corner, but when he started applying the throttle back on, then he just, the car went. And that's what happens with with these cars typically. We've seen it in previous weeks, but in this particular infield that doesn't have any grip, that it's exacerbated. It's a lot.
We are 5 of 30 now. I guess the race computer is saying that we're going to be able to do 30 laps or so. We'll see. We'll see what that distance is as we get further into this race.
Oh, Matthew Short just spins in front of Glenn Luzon. There's a little bit of a notch there, and now Alexander Pochid has a good run of him coming up of going into turn 11. Not quite as close.
It looks like Luzon's doing real good on his corner exit, and there we see Petit with the green light on his dash on his window there. That means he's on push to pass.
That's exactly right. Trying to make some ground, but again, that's gonna change your braking markers entering turn 1, which is very tricky. Now they're going through turn 2.
Yep, and he ate up a lot of room there through turn 2. Excuse me. So he made up some time. See if he can do it to the remainder of this slippery infield as they work their way through 6 and 7 and coming into 8 now.
I was just looking at. Excuse me. I was just looking at Olivier Vignone. He just went. He spun a little bit, and now he's no longer P3. James Watson went by.
Watson and Vignone trying to recover on push to pass. So interesting about push to pass. While we got a second, I saw in the release notes for the latest release of R Factor 2 that the IR18 is going to have push to pass on ovals.
What? Okay.
Exactly. Well, I mean, IndyCar used to have push to pass on ovals as early as or as late as 2011. They would have push to pass. And really, it was just a higher engine map that the car would switch itself to. Vignone getting a little squirrely, so was Watson there through 8 and 9. They get it straightened out. So it was really not a push to pass like what you see in current IndyCar or on the road course, where you have it for 200 total seconds, 20 seconds at a burst, and you're getting about 100 extra horsepower a pop, give or take. You would hit the push to pass, and it would basically just if engine map 1 was the most rich, then everyone raced at engine map 2, and then when you push to pass, it'd go to engine map 1 for a little bit. That's kind of what the push to pass was back in the older cars before the DW12. But the race R Factor 2 is looking at in its release notes. It said push to pass for IndyCar and ovals on the release notes.
Wow! Well, it's got to be a lot of fun, I can imagine. Not sure how I feel about it though.
That's for oval racers. That's one more button you're going to have to map. Oh, we got Massera off in the 8-9, and this is going to put up a battle here for P2 between 3 cars. And Vignone just going to say, I'm going to go over the curbs, and he does, and he dives in deep there in the hairpin and comes out in front. But Watson, with the better acceleration on the outside, gets the position back through turns 3 and 4. And we got a bit of a train coming down the main straight here.
Yeah, Watson was on push to pass there, so that definitely goes to show the power that it allows you to do whenever you're on that. But smart for Olivier to not try and defend with using the button a little later, because as we know, it takes 5 seconds for it to engage, and now it's a very interesting train. Turns 8 and 9 are very treacherous. Like they seem easy enough. It seems to be a double apex, and that's about it. But it seems to be a little bit of camber. So whenever you start going back into the throttle, the car will naturally try to go all the way out.
Yeah.
And that's taking a lot of these drivers like a little bit out of shape. Sarah is trying to go back.
And JJ Wang is joining this battle, and he looks awful.
Yeah, that's a good thing about these cars. They can take a beating.
I mean, he's almost like a Brazilian stock car version of a modified at the moment. Of course, you're not getting all that downforce features to help get you through the corners, but he is getting direct airflow to his tires. That could help with cooling.
Yeah, I can imagine that's going to help the tires. I'm not sure that these cars have or generate a lot of downforce. While I was driving around in the oval, I was like, okay, let's see how much it can take, and it doesn't take much. You have to definitely lift or do a little bit of brake dragging in order to make the corner.
Yeah, JJ Wang, despite the damage, he is part of this battle. We are watching a battle for P2, and Massera, under acceleration, is going to open the door for JJ Wang on the outside through turns 3 and 4 on the oval. What has happened to Massera? As he possibly, with all these off-track and incidents, maybe have overheated tires at the moment?
That could be it, but I think it goes more to show the how difficult it is to go back into or the transitions between the oval and the infield section. we saw it in practice. A lot of drivers were having a very tough time with turn 11 because once you start going back into the oval, there are a lot of elevation changes and whatnot, and it really upsets the car. We've seen them time and again catch those slides, but this time it went a little too far. As Vignone seems to be hounding now James Watson there for P2.
And watching them here as they hit the second hairpin to come back out on the oval. Watson locks up the left front there a little bit. So we are 11 of 29 projected laps.
Looks like Matthew Short had an issue and is going through the parking lot as we speak.
With the Matthew Short with the could probably get a valet service sponsorship there on the side of his car if he wanted there. Missing his hood, so he's had a bit of a rough day versus where he started the race from. He had a good heat race. Meanwhile, up front, our points leader, Facundo Rago, is just being Facundo right now.
Yeah. Running away, and like he said in his interview, just be patient, hit your marks, and I mean, he was expecting to start from P8, but now that he was able to get the pole, he's just gonna drive away. And the battle for second is really, really heating up.
Let's take a look back there on that current battle. Yeah, I'd like to see how Facundo would do, like in the Formula Indy series on the road courses in an IndyCar. Oh, and James Watson's scheduled stop coming to pit road here. Scheduled stop. So this will get him fueled to the end. And that should be all. And then maybe any damage repair that he needs done. These do have fast repairs on them. Painfully slow down pit road. Even on a mile oval pit road, it's painfully slow here.
And I would say the good thing is pit exit is really simple. It just bolts you into pits, which is really part of turn 1. So
yep. And there you
much
see
easier pits than last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And there you see we were just taking a look at pit exit there.
7.5 seconds for him. Well, 7.7. That was pretty fast.
Yeah, that was a pretty good stop for him.
JJ Wang went by Olivier Vignone there, turn 11. And they're still fighting side by side in IndyCar.
I tell you what, IndyCar Oval 3 and 4. I tell you what, Wang might want to uncheck that fast repair button. He seems with all that damage on his car, he has worked his way up to P2 and has driven around 3 people that are, well, their cars, I would say, look as 100% as they could be. I would say Watson's car is about 90%, 80% with that hood missing, that front mid bumper gone. But he seems to be able to race. Here comes Becerra to the inside, getting that position. Again through 7, 8, and 9 here.
Yeah, I love that modified look at it. And JJ was getting a little squirrely there exiting turn 9.
I'm telling you, the front wheels are getting direct air. They're getting nice and cool.
And now Vignone is trying to get Becerra back. A great back and forth there.
And these guys have raced each other very cleanly up here. We're about halfway home. 15 of 29. This mid-pack battle has been kind of what we've been watching all race long. We'll get you some ticker information here. Facundo Rago is your leader by 14 seconds at the moment. Right behind him, another 15 seconds behind.
There's another great battle there for currently for P5 between Glenn Luzon and Alex Pochit, although Pochit just missed his braking marker, got a little wide, but he's reeling Luzon back in.
Luzon wide off of 5, well over the strips there, and no incident points there given. And right now being chased down by Poteet, who is flashing a little bit.
And getting squarely into turn 11, they'll both get through there. with no incident.
Yeah, speaking of the flashing, it also reminds me in R Factor 2, the latest release, that if the car in front of you lags out and flashes, and when it comes back in, it is like a 5-second delay before it becomes like truly solid again. So if you were racing it and you would and it would disappear and then form on top of you, you had 5 seconds to get that car off of you, otherwise you're going to wreck. Here in iRacing, if you happen to be racing a blinker and you happen to occupy the same space where the blinker reforms, that is an automatic wreck pretty much. But I kind of like that, where it's like a small delay before it becomes solid again. But anybody that blinks, though, should probably, there's a couple YouTube videos out there to take a look at. A lot of it has to do with DNS and that type of thing. But some settings you can put on your router. Here comes Poteet to the inside of Luzon here in the second hairpin. Back on the oval. But yeah, there's a couple of YouTube videos out there that people that are experiencing any flashing or blinking in their gameplay here on iRacing. Check those out, and there's some settings you can change on your router and whatnot to help improve it.
And I'm just saw that JJ Wang just went into the pits. It's gonna be very interesting to see where he merges back in with James Watson already.
JJ is getting repaired, so we'll see if he holds equal pace with a front hood and bumper this time.
Oh, and Watson's gonna go by easy.
Yeah, Watson, that early pit stop, it looks like the over is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, that seems to have helped him. Although JJ's pit stop was basically 2 seconds slower than James Watson. So James was in the pits for 7.7 seconds, and JJ was for 9.5.
Yeah, so, I think they had the difference in fuel. It had to be. I mean, that's all they're there for, right? Well, Wang did get a fast repair done. I don't know if any of that actually takes a little extra time, but maybe that was all just the difference in fuel.
I think it does. I think it does at least take a couple, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds for that fast repair to kick in. As we see Vignone is now the one in the pits. Let's see where he merges out. Seven seconds on the pits.
Here comes Watson. Here comes JJ. JJ dove that in really deep. I think he was going to give Olivier some room. Probably gave him a little too much room. So now this is a battle for what is 6th place on the racetrack. Rago is still the leader. He has not pitted yet. He is 19 laps into his current stint. We got about 10 to go here in the feature race of the Stock Carnaval de Brasil series. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure to smash the like and hit subscribe and the bell. No Friday IndyCar race this week. If you missed last week's race, you got to check that back out. That was IndyCar on the Chicago street course. And man, the IIS guys, they had about as rough of a time on the Chicago street course as you would have guessed they would have, and those are some of the best IndyCar drivers on the service thereabouts. Here comes Rago, scheduled stop, his one and only for the race, making his way down pit road very slowly, running through everybody's pit box.
I'm keeping my eye on the battle between Watson and Vignone. Vignone is sending it there in turn 10, all the way now entering turn 11. Trying to go side by side. And he's going to make it work.
Massera also on pit road as well. Facundo Rago back down and away. He is off pit road and maintains the lead. So we'll see if Massera maintains... I think Massera will maintain P2 here.
Yeah, Massera's pit stop was 6 6.2 seconds. So the fastest of all these guys. As,
Interesting.
James Watson gets squirrely entering turn 2. That's going to allow both Vignone and JJ1 to get by. Yeah, I think what Massera did was try and pit later than everyone else to get some fast, clean laps without anyone in front of you, because we know he has a pace, and then just go into the pit, do a really quick stop without having to get too much fuel. As JJ Wang is now going by Vignone, he missed the corner there a little bit.
I wonder if Vignone had to concede that position because of maybe a cut course penalty.
Yeah, that could also be it. But this fight has been really nitty here between all these guys, and Massera just checked out.
Yeah, Massera
4 seconds ahead of JJ.
9 laps to go. Here's your leader, Facundo Ragos, P2. Pit stops are pretty much complete for everybody at the moment, with the exception, I believe, of Alexander Poteet and Dan Miglin. They still, I believe, have one more stop to go. P2 is Sebastian Massera. There he is. You can tell the difference between Rago and Massera's car. Massera has the purple valence, the purple end plates on the winglets, and also the purple rims, as well as mirrors on the side there. JJ Wang, P3. Worked his way up from P8 to get here. And apparently some hardship along the way, as we saw from the condition of his car prior to his pit stop. Right behind him, Frenchman Olivier Vignone, trying to run him down. James Watson, recovering from an off a couple laps ago, is P5. Glenn Luzon, another top 10 finish in his cards here today, looking like it, in P6 here. Rafael Oliveira.
He's always been, Glenn Luzon, he's always been so consistent, always in the edge of the top 5, just run around the P5 to P8. That's where we see him, and he's always driving very, very consistently.
And those add up. They certainly add up. Oh, keep it going. There he goes. He got a little squirrely there in turn 8 and 9, but he is back underway. Rafael Oliveira has kind of got a rough start to today's feature race. Currently back in 7th, and might be conceding P2 to the points to Vignone at the conclusion of this race. We shall see how the points shape out. There's Alexander Poteet right there, and the 369 and P8. Matthew Johnson in the Mobile 1. Let's see, that's a Chevy, it looks like. And P4 or P9. Dan Miglin on pit road for a scheduled stop, but it looks like it's going long at the moment, so there might either be repairs or he's facing a penalty. Currently in 10th. David Massell and Matthew Short in 11th and 12th are currently showing out. Also, not making the feature here is Bruno Miranda, and so that's really going to impact the championship.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to play a huge role. He's going to drop a lot of spots. And I think the big winners this week are going to be both JJ Wang and Olivier Vignone, and also Sebastian Massera. We were talking with him last week after his win that, he was going to try to win the championship also. And although Rago has that massive points lead, he could still be gunning for P2. So, and that's more than helped his mission today with a P2 in the heat race, and currently looking solid for another P2. So it looks like we have 4 minutes to go, around 4 laps. Looks like Alexander Pochid hasn't. Rafael Oliveira went by Pochid, but he hasn't been able to, shrug him off. But they're still very close together into track.
We watch them head on, coming into the second hairpin there. Back out onto the oval. This is the closest battle on the racetrack, besides the battle between Vignone and Watson.
And now Pochid is push to pass there also, so he's trying to maybe send it entering turn 1. We'll see how that works. He's getting really close.
Oh, Oliveira getting all squirrely. Yeah, Oliveira getting a little squirrely there. Good car control, though.
Yeah, and I know I would have spawned easily, so kudos to him. And he maintained position. And Pochid was on the push-pass button, and he ended up braking a little earlier than he wanted, because, as we know, it changes everything because of the additional 100 horsepower. But seems that it didn't work. And also, harkening back to that, or using that as a segue, Rago just used his first one of the entire race. Maceira hasn't touched it at all. So I'm guessing that the push-pass, although effective perhaps in the oval section, it doesn't change that much, because you have to brake so much earlier entering turn 1 in order for it to work.
Five laps to go here. We're watching this close battle here on the racetrack between Pochid and Oliveira.
And there we go.
Oh, under acceleration. Yep, just as you were talking about. So he's going to get that turned around and straightened out, but he is going to get lapped, I think, in the process by our leader right there.
Yeah, but turns 8 and 9, again, they seem very flat and very whatever, but they are extremely slippery. I'm not sure if there is some dirt or something in there, but whenever you start going back to the throttle, exiting that kind of herping, it's a little bit of a double apex kind of corner. But whenever you start going back to the throttle, the car will immediately try to spin out. So, yeah, we've seen it time and again, and that's unfortunate, because Pochid was getting really close there to Oliveira. But, at least he didn't lose any positions, because he's 25 seconds in front of Matt Johnson there.
Rago on push to pass at the end of that lap there, so he's looking to set a purple lap time here, I'm sure. Remember, it takes about 5 seconds for push to pass to engage. Then you got it for 20 seconds, regardless if you're on or off the throttle. And the reason why we say that, if you're familiar when watching our IndyCar coverage, when IndyCar uses push to pass, they can use it anytime, provided they're at 100% throttle. And when they're anything less than 100% throttle, it disengages. And then there's a bit of a cool-off period here for push to pass on these cars, about 85 seconds, I believe, that they cannot use it. So that's a better part of they can't use it. The way it works out is almost every other lap is the way they can use it.
85 seconds, which is an eternity in a racetrack. And I was just looking at he did a 101.8, but he also holds the purple lap already. He has the fastest one. He did a 101.4, and next closest or next best was his teammate Sebastián Maceira with a 101.5. Really, really fast, those two guys this week.
There it is on your screen. A 101.4 is your purple lap. Last time by a 102.3, so he's still smoking. Last 5 lap average been a 101.8. So he is by far one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Actually, the last 5 laps, the fastest car on the racetrack has been his teammate Maceira with a 101.7 average. So faster by a 1/10 over the last 5 laps.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this might just be the last lap.
Yep, final lap.
It is.
And we were watching them coming out of corner number 4 there, and 2 for 2, maximum points, maximum effort there
there's
for
a total of 54 points are in play, and that includes a pole position, 2 points for pole position. So he basically he's gonna earn 54 additional points. I think we can start giving him that championship this time around.
JJ Wang on the podium. James Watson back just on the point where the road course rejoins with the oval. Turns 3 and 4 on exit. He will get himself a top 5 here behind Olivier Vignone. Glenn Luzon off of corner number 4. Oval 4 there, and he gets a P6. Oliveira had a bit of a rough race though, but brings it home. Finishing's half the battle.